Good morning, and we are in Doctrine and Covenants, and we're going to be doing 94 through 97 today and learn about the Kirtland Temple. Anciently, the Lord commanded Moses to build a tabernacle according to the pattern showed to him in the mount. And we can see that here in Hebrews, who serve unto the example of shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God, and when he was about to make the tabernacle, for see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shown thee into the mount. And then in Exodus, let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make it. So anciently we had that. So the tabernacle was to be in the center of Israel's wilderness camp, and we find that in Numbers. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, every man and children shall pitch their tent by his own standard, with the ensign of their father's house far off about the temple, the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch. And there's depictions of that, different places where you see the tabernacle in the center and all the different tribes of Israel being surrounding it. In 1833, the Lord commanded Joseph Smith to build temples, not after the manner of the world, but rather after the manner which I shall show. Like the tabernacle in the wilderness, the temple was meant to be a central feature in Kirtland. Today, temples are found around the world. Even if they aren't at the center of our cities, they point us to Christ, who should be the center of our lives. Though each temple differs in appearance, within them we learn the same divine pattern, a heavenly plan to bring us back into the presence of God. Sacred ordinances and covenants connect us to Christ and strengthen our families, not after the manner of the world, but after the pattern God shows us. So, I've looked at a few things. I've read A House of Our God, which is here. It's very long, so I'm not going to read it, but it does bring up some interesting things. The fact that there's so much that remember that it's not even just 1833 or 1832. It was, I think, they had the Doctrine and Covenants 88 told them to establish, but also you got to realize that in Zion, or Independence, Missouri, there was supposed to be a temple erected there, and that was as early as 1831, I believe, which means that they were meant to do one. And so much of the time, I think they should have spent the time on it, because that seems to be one of their failings, is they didn't build a temple. But as I read the histories and I see what was going on and what they're thinking and some of the things that they proposed, even for the Kirtland Temple, it makes me realize that they had an upward battle to have to get to the Kirtland Temple itself, or the Temple in Independence, because a lot of them didn't know what a temple was meant for. Was it a schoolhouse? Was it what type of building it was? It's mentioned in some of the notes that they considered making it, to save money, was going to make it a log cabin, basically. A large log cabin. Why? Because then you don't have to have the nice hewn wood. You can take it and put it up fairly quickly, and it would be functional. But the Lord had other plans. And even today we have the Kirtland Temple still stands, and it has changed its function over time, but it has stood there for some time. But it probably wouldn't have if it was a log cabin. So this week, what I really wanted to do, I think, is kind of put ourselves in their shoes. What was it like to have to build a temple? Why did they postpone it, or not? Why did it take them a while to start? Because they've been told off a little bit and said, you haven't done what I've asked you to do, which is to build a temple. And now they're like gearing up. What were the obstacles? Well, I can tell you a couple of things. One was that they didn't have very much money. They were doing loads of missionary work. Their people were coming in, and some gave up everything they had just to be there in Zion or with the saints. And I think that that's significant to them, that they had these challenges. And then to build a structure that was just going to be phenomenally expensive, both in Independence and in Kirtland. Independence ended up having more serious problems than that, but they never did start the temple. They put some stones down, from what I understand, but they never did build the temple. And you think, well, they're not being faithful. And I think it's true, they weren't to the words, but like I said, did they know what to do with it, how to do it, etc. Then Joseph Smith has, well, not just Joseph Smith, forget the other two right off. It might have been Sidney Rigdon and Frederick G. Williams. But I thought it might have been Whitney as well, the bishop. Anyway, they see and vision the Kirtland Temple and how it's built. And it would be given as instructions to build a similar building in Missouri, but I think the whole thing was that it was difficult, and it was difficult to have that without instructions. And also having a lot of other good things that they needed to do. So it was more of a change of focus than a lack of will to do it, if that makes sense. In other words, are they focused on missionary work? Are they focused on getting people settled? Are they focused on the temple? And I guess in our time, it's so easy not to go to the temple if you're just focused on the next thing you need to get done. You're doing good things, but it's just not enough time or whatever to be able to bring that focus into the temple, and it's really easy to do. And so I guess this week we'll see how they became focused on the temple and how we can focus ourselves on the temple for the salvation of Zion. And we'll start the reading tomorrow in earnest. But I hope you have a wonderful day and think about how you can focus more on the temple. And we'll see you tomorrow.